Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another episode. This is Angling Untangled. I'm Louis if you haven't been here before, and the whole mission of these episodes is fishing action but also heaps of tips. Today we're on a lovely far south coast ledge and the target is some big black drummer, also called rock blackfish and pigs. Super hard fighting, super tasty. Conditions are looking pretty good. Just checking out the ledge before I step up with the rod. But let's roll the intro and get fishing. Cracker. Yes, got him. Oh yeah. Look at that. Yep. Alright, let's get him back. So let's just check out the location here first of all. Rock blackfish, as the name suggests, found on the rocks, and what you're really looking for is somewhere that's got a nice bit of turbulence and foam. They hide out in this aerated water and looking for bits of cabbage. Let's watch this wave. Bits of cabbage being washed off the rocks, cunje, crabs, whatever. Anything that gets swept in. I do believe they eat other forms of weed besides cabbage as well. But yeah, you want somewhere with a bit of depth is helpful, just to stop yourself getting snagged, and a bit of white water rolling over the top. If there's cunje and stuff on the rocks, you're kind of looking at a decent spot for rock blackfish. And that's the bait we're going to be starting out with today, is some cunje, which I might just roll some footage now of me collecting it a bit earlier. You do want to go at low tide because it lives in the intertidal zone. And I find it best to just go down and either kick a bit off or break a bit off. And then you're just going to open it just like I'm showing on the footage right now. You're allowed 20 bits of cunje per person, and that's plenty for a good session, though it can disappear pretty quick if there is pickers around. But cunje is my favourite. Bread is also good, and also some cooked prawns, which I do have with me. We might get onto a bit later. So they're the kind of top three baits. Or also cabbage, sea cabbage, just like this stuff here. They don't mind eating that. And the good thing about this bait is that the toadfish and everything else will generally leave it alone too. So if you're getting just baited all the time by little pickers, try putting on a bit of cabbage. Burley is not super necessary, but can be very helpful for bringing the drummer into your area. And the go-to is just some white bread, and I like to soak mine in water and mush it up. You can just throw in pieces, but what happens is it tends to just wash away and it'll bring in the gulls and they'll pick it up and that kind of thing. So I like to just have a bucket. It's going to have my burley in it, and I'm just going to soak the bits, chuck them in. Do that with all the slices here. And yeah, get the cheapest bread you can find, or even if you go to a bakery and get day-old bread, that's the go. Because if you get super fresh stuff, super nice bread, what it turns to do is not mush up, it goes like doughy. So yeah, if it's stale, you won't have that problem. There you go. I'm just going to mush this up, and then we'll have a look at the rig and rod and all the rest. So I am going to leave my burley way up here. Shouldn't be any risk of it getting washed in by a wave. Just going to put in a little scoop of bread just to begin with. Probably needs saying, rock fishing is super dangerous. I've done a big spiel about this already though in my luderick off the rocks video. So if you're new to rock fishing, I suggest you check that out to hear what I have to say about it. In this council, I'm not required to wear a life jacket, but I am today. I don't think anyone's going to see me fall in, and it is winter. I've got my jumper on and all the rest, so better to err on the side of caution. And so drummer, their kind of peak season is during the winter, but they certainly don't disappear. I've had some cracking sessions in the summer as well. And there's kind of two methods which are typically used for fishing for them. The first, and the one we're starting off with, and the one I usually always go for, is super duper simple, where we just have a small ball sinker down to a hook. They've got pretty small mouths, so this is a 3/0 hook, and that's about pretty good size for them. And you don't want to use weak hooks. Make sure you get ones with a bit of gauge in the wire, because they are strong, and you got to extract them pretty quickly because they know where they want to go, which is back down into their cave down the bottom. So this is my preferred way to chase them, and you'll just notice there I've chosen to snell on the hook rather than tie off on the eye with the uni knot or whatever. And for one, I've just started doing it with all my turned out eye hooks because I think it provides just a slightly better connection, but also you don't have the sinker jamming down into the knot. So 3/0 hook, little ball sinker. I'm using a pretty heavy duty setup because they do get pretty big. So I've got 30-pound fluoro, and I've probably got about 3 meters down to my FG knot. Probably the best setup for chasing would be a straight through mono setup, and that is just simply so you don't have to keep tying leader knots, because with the fishing you are just going to get snagged up on the bottom, and it's a bit of a hassle to be changing out doing leader knots all the time. So a straight through mono setup is probably preferred, but the braid is just as good, even a bit more sensitive, less affected by the water moving around, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. 30-pound fluoro for the leader. I'm rocking 30-pound braid for the main line. And yeah, this is a pretty stout drummer rod. So this is the Pen Prevail 10 foot, and I believe it is about a 12 kilo, yeah, 8 to 15 kilo. So any small drummer and any bream we encounter, which is a pretty common bycatch, is going to get scull dragged in. But I want to be able to put the brakes on any big drummer and be able to lift them up too if needed. And a longer rod is just going to help you manage fish around the rocks, keep your line off the rocks, that kind of thing. And then down the bottom, a 55,000 pen slammer. And as mentioned before, we are going to be using cunje, which is my favourite bait for these fish. So you would have seen just before me collecting some, but here is my bait bucket of cunje. And the best part of it, it's generally in two parts with the way that I cut it up. So this is just a small cunje, and you have the bottom bit, which is super soft and going to get picked off, and then the top where the two siphons are, that's a bit more rubbery. That's your best bait right there. So I'm just going to kick things off with a prime bait, and just about that big. That's big enough. Certainly can go bigger, but that's going to be big enough. And just going to go in and out of that a couple of times, just like that. That is a mouthful for a drummer. All right, let's give it a whirl. So I'm just going to have to always be watching out for waves. This is a good spot for this nor'east swell because most of the waves are getting buffered by this bommy out here. Ones are breaking out that way and the others are just rolling under at my feet here. If it was a southerly, I'd be dealing with waves coming over here, it'd be no good. But I'm always just going to keep an eye on the ocean. And I am just gonna lob this one just down there at my feet. And you always kind of want to maintain contact with your bait. Free spooling sometimes if you want to let it get down a little bit deeper. Oh, that was a bite straight away, though it didn't feel very drummerish. Just going to bring my bait up. That felt a little bit kelpy-ish, which are just a nuisance while you're drummer fishing. Anyway, signs of life. So the only thing you really need to adjust on this rig is the size of your sinker, or how many sinkers you have on. And it's a fine line between it kind of not getting down and being washed around too much, and then you also don't want it too heavy where it's just plummeting to the bottom and you're just getting constantly snagged. So I'm just gonna keep in contact with it. With these surges coming in, I'm gonna lift the rod tip. I can feel I'm getting some little bites down there. Just waiting for a big thud from a drummer. Hopefully they're not toadies, because that'll be an absolute pain in the butt. But that is it for this method of fishing with just a ball sinker on. You're just going to keep in contact with the bait, just wait for that big thud, and then it's a game of extraction. You don't really want to let them run too much drummer, because they'll just go straight down into a hole. There we go, that's a drummer. That's a drummer. Oh yeah, that is a drummer. Okay, there we go, that is a good one. Woo! Yo, beauty. And that is what a drummer fight is like. Mayhem. I felt him touch the rocks there. So I'm going to see if I can even go up 30 pound on. It's a fair bit of line for lifting this fish up. I'm not going to take any chances. He's only lightly hooked. So I'm going to just try and wash him up carefully without washing myself in. So let's see here. We might get a chance here. Yeah, there we go. And that is a pretty good drummer to kick things off with. Give you a look at him just in this rock pool, but they are thick fish. Very similarly bodied and mouthed and faced to a luderick, but they are just that much thicker. Bigger, stronger tail. I'll give you a look here. So there we go, that is a quite nice sized drummer, but they get much bigger. But you can just see that bigger tail than a luderick, and also so much thicker. Just little brutes, gorgeous fish. And that's why we're using quite small hooks as well, because have a look at the mouth there. So yeah, 3/0 and smaller, unless you're chasing really big fish, but yeah. So just like luderick, drummer eat best if you don't let them sit after killing. So what you want to do is put them in a catch bag or in a rock pool that you're able to retrieve them from, and just keep them alive until the end of the session, and you're ready to fill it up all your fish. I'll show you what's going on with my keeper bag here. So here's our drummer in the keeper bag, and he's going to be quite happy in that little rock pool. They don't need to be swimming back and forth like pelagics, just like a luderick. They're happy in a bit of aerated water, which this water in here is going to have plenty of aeration because it's so close to the ocean. Sometimes all you'll need is a catch bag, and you'll have a pool that's far enough away from the ocean that you don't have to worry about it. but this one's a little too close for my liking just to leave that catch bag like that. So I've just got on a piece of rope and a star sinker, and all I'm going to do is just wedge that star sinker down into a crack, just like that, and we know if a big wave comes along it's not going to get washed in. There you go, that didn't take too long. Hopefully we can get a few more. All right, we're back out there. So as mentioned, winter time is the peak season, and what I like fishing is an incoming tide. If that coincides with a low light period, all the better, but we're coming up to midday, so it doesn't really matter all too much. Some people actually have spots where they reckon it works better on a outgoing tide, but for me, just an incoming tide is what I'm looking for, and a little bit of swell. If it's dead flat, you'll probably struggle. They want that bit of wash. And of course, if it's too turbulent, it's not worth being out there and risking your life. Jesus. Didn't even know he's only got ripped up the rocks, the poor little fella. So this is the kelpies I mentioned earlier. They are not what you want. A pretty little fish, but just they're bait thieves when we're fishing for drummer. They look pretty scary to handle, but they've actually got very soft spikes on them, so they're fine to grip. There you go. That's a drummer. Oh my god, that is a drummer, and he's actually taking drag, which is not good. Oh my god, that is a proper pig. Whoo, that is a proper pig. My god, have a look at that thing. I did feel him touch some rocks then. Oh, just the power of these things is crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, same deal. Gonna try and wash him up. He looks like he's pinned pretty good. Might get a chance with a little wave here. Holy smokes, he was an absolute donkey. There he is. Holy smokes. Oh, look at the size of him. Oh, far out. Now that is a proper pig. Look at that. Oh. Absolutely chunky. Just explosive fishing. Now I'm actually going to let this guy go. I still think they eat fine, these bigger fish, but he's just a king and queen of the domain. We're going to send him back, or her back, to go and make little baby drummers for us. Don't worry about this little bit of blood coming out. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry about that little bit of blood coming out, that's going to be fine. They do tend to bleed quite a bit, even from just a little nick in the mouth. He wasn't got in the gills or anything. but he's going to be fine. I'm just going to plop him down in this little pool down here, and he can get washed in with the next big swell. But absolutely gorgeous fish, very nice. So yeah, I'm just going to plop him down in there. He's going to be out over that ledge. There he went, just went over there. Woo-wee! That is what it's all about. Big fat pigs pull and drag. Good fun. And yeah, he rubbed me through the rocks. It's not too bad, but I certainly am going to retie. And that's also why I like to have a really long leader of, you know, 3 meters plus if you're fishing braid, because if that had been braid that nicked the rocks, you would have been gone. But I'm going to snip that off, retie, see if we can get another one. I'll be happy with another big one, but a couple of small ones for a feed would be good. Oh, that's a drummer. That's a drummer. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, we've beat him. Just need to keep an eye on this ocean. And you know what? We're just going to lift this guy. He's a little bit smaller. Another perfect eating size one. Beautiful. Yeah, there's just no mistaking when you've got one on compared to the other things you find in the wash. Maybe except for a groper, but unfortunately, because of the knee-jerk reaction to that dude spearing one, groper fishing is off limits to us for the moment in New South Wales. So there we go, that's another very respectable drummer, perfect eating size. Let's get him in the keeper net. Oh, there we go. So I was going to mention these guys at some point, but what we have here is a silver drummer. Which it's just the exact same body as the black drummer, it's just silver. And what I was going to mention about these guys is that they are no good to eat. On my way out the door this morning, the old boy told me a story of when he tried to cook one up, said it was tough as leather. So they're still a beautiful little fish and fight just as hard as the black drummer, but no good to eat. Just going to chuck a little bit more burley in. And with the burley, I just like to do a scoop like this every 10 minutes or so. You kind of don't want to over burley. And what you got to be conscious of is, where's your burley going? This is kind of like a nice little kind of eddy here. I think as waves are coming in, there's a bit of a rip going up the side here. And also the waves there going that way. So the burley's just kind of sitting in this one spot, which is perfect. But if your burley is just immediately getting sucked out of the zone, if you're over burleying, all it's going to do is take the fish away from your spot. So just a little bit of burley off every 10 minutes or so. And one of these little scoops is handy as. I got this from the legends at Boss Outdoor. Not sure if they have it online, but they do have it in the store. And I'll also put links in the description to all the other gear I'm using, even down to the leader and hooks and that. Oh, that's a pig. That's a pig. That's a pig. That's a good pig. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's a very good pig. Whew. Man, oh man. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Oh, there he went. That was another donkey. Oh my God. Bugger. Oh, look at that. Need better hooks. Damn, that was a good pig. Well, that is just plain unfortunate. That hook had been into the rocks a couple times, so I don't know if that, and I kind of yanked it out. I always make sure to check the hook point after that in case it's gotten bent over, but that sucked. That was on par, if not bigger than the other big pig we had. Anyways, I'm gonna have faith in these hooks. Chucked another one on. We'll just get back out there, see if we can get another one. I would have been happy with calling it quits after that one, but that's just left me wanting to get another. Yeah, that's a pig. That's a pig. That's a pig. Oh, no way. Oh, well, at least the hook didn't break that time, but he got off. Bugger. That was the next cast after that one we just busted the hook on as well. Well, we'll get straight back in there. So that is the reason why you step back from the ledge while baiting up. I didn't even see that wave coming then. I had my head down. So yeah, always get away from the ledge if you're not going to be focusing on the water. That would have got me good. There's lots and lots and lots of pickers in the wash at the moment. I'm probably going through a bait every 30 seconds really. Even now I can feel a little taps on the rod tip. Just waiting for those bigger thuds. Like I reckon I'm probably baited already. A few more little taps. Yeah, so, and this is pretty standard to have this much action from the pickers as well. So you go through your 20 bits of cunje pretty quickly. I'm not going to put them on camera. I've probably caught a good 10 kelpies as well. Yeah, there we go. Well, that's a little piglet. Plenty in the wash. Now he might be legal. To be honest, I can't remember exactly what the legal limit on drummer is. It may be 30 centimeters, but I'm going to put it up on the screen for you now. And I'll also put the bag limit, which I haven't checked up on these things in quite a while. Oh, sorry, little fella. Oh no. Well, that's lucky. Nearly lost him in this pool, but he would have got out eventually. But the seas are falling, so I'd prefer to put him back out in the ocean. But beautiful little piglet. See ya. Oh, and a big wave. Just watch the catch bag, make sure it doesn't get left up high and dry. They're, well, not loving life, but they're happy enough. Well guys, I think that is time to pack it in. That's 20 pieces of cunje gone. As I mentioned, I caught a heap of kelpies as well, and yeah, everything kind of eats cunje, so it can disappear quick some days. I do have prawns there for bait, and there's plenty of cabbage on the rocks, but really I've had a pretty good session. Tangled with one really big fish, lost another. Got some good ones to eat, and I'm going to head off to fillet them up now. As you can see, they're still plenty alive, just sitting in that rock pool. So what I'm going to do is brain spike them and then bleed them. That's very important to do with your drummer, just like your luderick. And then I'm going to be straight off to the filleting tables to fillet them. You don't want to let them sit dead for too long. Anyways, hope you've enjoyed and picked up some tips if you're going to get into some drummer fishing. If you have liked it, a like and subscribe would be much appreciated, and it'll let you know when the next video is coming out. Anyways, cheers for watching guys, see you next time.